Hello?
Hello, everyone.
Oh my gosh, we're back again.
We're back again.
In the middle of a holiday weekend.
Is it?
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday.
Oh, that's right.
I know. I didn't realize that until like halfway through my workday on Friday. And so this was a great surprise 3-day weekend for me.
That's because usually Monday holidays are hell for me, at working at a restaurant. But this is a holiday that isn't usually hell because like only like half of offices like have off for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not as inundated with people who are like, ooh, it's a 3-day weekend. Like, let's go get a burger.
Right. Yeah. So I think it should be fine for you and it'll be great for me. And I am excited because it's like, I have things on the calendar coming up. Like I have a couple days off when we go to Austin. I'm taking the Friday after Thanksgiving.
You're going to Austin?
I'm going to Austin because Jack's going to be on a podcast panel at the Austin Film Festival that weekend. And so I'll be there in the audience, like Amy Poehler and Mean Girls, just like filming and being like, you're doing great, sweetie.
Like yes, pushing people's heads out of the way, just being like, move.
Exactly. So you're going to see a lot of annoying reels from me that weekend. But then the Thanksgiving's coming up, and then I just got my tickets for the holidays, going to a friend's bachelorette in November, then her wedding in December. But so I need it, and this weekend has been very much a lot of nothing, which is like, I love that. I love a weekend and a break that's not like jam-packed with shit to do. You know?
That's good.
I love that for me.
I work every single day, every single weekend. Anyway, welcome to Two Gay Mats, the podcast.
Look, you have the week to rest.
Do I rest, though? I also work during the week.
But not every day.
Not every day.
Hey, count our blessings. Glass half full. Happy long weekend.
I'm tired. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Two Gay Mats podcast. It's Matt Steele.
And it's Matt Palmer.
And we are back for another week. Matt Palmer, how was your week? Besides buying plane tickets, which is always stressful for me.
It was stressful. And it's also like, I'm spending so much money at once. And there's no way around it because it's like, yes, I have to fly to these places. I have to fly home. I have to fly to Vegas for this bachelor party. It's fine. Yeah. But it's like the act of doing it is like, oh, well, there goes that money I used to have.
Yep.
So that is always a bit of a heartbreaker. But otherwise, my weekend was very low key. On Friday, Jackson and I walked to a restaurant called the Morrison, which is close to where we live. Had a nice meal there. On Saturday, Janie and I went to see Oklahoma, which is touring, and one of Janie's friends is in it, and she did an incredible job. I don't remember her character's name, but she was incredible.
Gertie.
Maybe Gertie.
Gertie.
Gertie?
The funny girl with the laugh.
Yes, great laugh. Gertie.
Yes.
Beautiful Gertie, she was. I'm not an Oklahoma person in general.
I am, so tell me about it.
It's very bare bones. There's one set.
Yes, it's considered sexy Oklahoma. Was this production sexy?
I could tell they were going for sexy. It's very much like the lighting is doing a lot. So it's like in the beginning when Curly and Lori are like fighting, but like it's supposed to be tension, they just would like push them really close together.
What do you mean push them really close together?
Like they somehow wind up looking at each other like they're about to kiss mid-fight. Then like the lights would get really dim and low. And it's like, oh, does this mean this is sexual tension that you're like very obviously plainly showing me with the light? So most of the like effects and the things you were supposed to feel were because of the lights. Because the set didn't change. Everyone was just kind of on stage, whether they were in the scene or not.
And it's a very small cast.
Yes, and the whole cast is on stage. And then there's like, someone's walking in, and then they just start moving as if they were frozen before, and then they start moving through the world. And I'm like, what is this? And so then there's like a moment where we bring a video camera out, and it's like a mixed media moment where we're looking in Jed's face while it's projected across the screen.
Okay.
There were a lot of big swings. As a person who doesn't know Oklahoma, it wasn't for me.
Okay.
But I think there was a lot of the actors. The thing is, the actors themselves were all fantastic, especially the Lori. She had such a beautiful voice. So nothing to take away from the actors and performers and, the orchestra people who were on stage, of course. But it just feels like, does everything need to be stripped down and like bare bones and like sexy and like it's like, why was I scared at the end of the show? Why were people's faces covered in blood and angry grimaces while we're singing Oklahoma title track?
Okay.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, I have not seen this production of Oklahoma, so I can't comment on like the specifics of it, but I am a Rodgers and Hammerstein head, as you all know. Like, so Oklahoma is very beloved to me. And so when I see a bunch of stuff from this production, I'm kind of like, oh, this feels interesting. I like this. But then I hear about other things like all the blood and like we have to make it dark. We have to make it dark. We have to make it dark. And I'm kind of like, oh, was this like the author's intention? Like I don't want to comment on this production of Oklahoma, but I think something that bothers me a little bit sometimes with theatrical productions that are like reinventions of old shows and everything is like, especially if it's a comedy, like a musical comedy or something like that, it's like, oh, well, in order to give it more dimension, we have to make it dark. And it's like, no. Like the show has so much dimension already. Like the characters are so well written. Everything is so well written that like, you don't need to make it dark to make it meaningful. But I mean, maybe I will end up catching this production of Oklahoma and I will completely disagree with everything you said.
That could happen.
So,
and the thing is, I had heard mixed things from people and I was thinking, oh, well, maybe they're just like Oklahoma people who grew up with it and love it in this certain iteration. I'm not that. And even for me, it was like, is this part like, is Jed supposed to be like an incel Javert? Because that was okay, great.
Yes, if that came across, then they did a good job.
If that was the goal, then it happened, and that's what I was watching.
An incel Javert.
That's what it was.
I love that explanation for Judd.
So we did that, and then last night we played a little Zelda, which was fun. And then today we spent the day. We went going to different plant nurseries because we have all of these little. Basically pots and holders for little succulents around an apartment that have just been empty for almost a year now. And so we've decided to fill them up, buy some more plants for inside. I'm hopeful that we don't kill them immediately because, if I could make every plant fake, I would. But my partner is not me. And
if your child is a plant, don't let Matt Palmer babysit. He can take care of a turtle. The turtle? The turtle.
We got along great.
The turtle thrived when it was visiting your home.
Absolutely.
But a plant, yeah.
No. Okay, so Matt Steele,
yes.
How was your week?
My week was very good. I went to the cinema a couple times, which we will talk about.
Yes.
Wednesday, I hung out with my friend Lauren, which was very fun. We went to my favorite restaurant.
How is Lauren?
Neighborhood. Lauren's doing very well.
Good.
She's teaching college. She's teaching public speaking in Pepperdine at Pepperdine University. So she's having a lot of fun with that, and it's easy for her to get to like the West Side now, like after work and everything. She can just go down that PCH and everything. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with her, and she's probably listening to the podcast. So hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Oh God, what else did I do this week? I can't think of a one except I worked a lot and went to the movies and had a nice time.
I think that's great.
Every single time.
So wait, should we dive into the news for idiots?
Let's dive in because I feel like we have a lot of news stories.
We have some.
Okay. We've got some. Okay.
We've got some. Okay, let me go to the first one, which is about Billy Eichner reacting online to the disappointing box office numbers that came out of Bro's first weekend. Straight people just didn't show up is the pull quote. Let me see if I can get the full quotes.
I just want to start off by saying the Bros discourse has enveloped my entire week and a half.
It's exhausting, and I wish it would die down. And I will discuss it in the tweet thread he wrote. Last night, I snuck in and sat in the back of a sold-out theater playing Bros in L.A. The audience howled with laughter, start to finish, burst into applause at the end, and some were wiping away tears as they walked out. It was truly magical. Really, I'm very proud of this movie. Even with glowing reviews, great Rotten Tomato scores, a cinema score, etc., straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, just didn't show up for Bros. And that's disappointing, but it is what it is. I think he goes on and on and on. And okay, I have a lot of feelings about this. First, no matter the reaction to this movie, no matter the box office numbers, I think it's hilarious. And wait, had you talked to the people since you saw the film?
I have not talked to the people.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was quick. I thought it was romantic. I was in love with it. How did you feel about the movie?
I was gonna save this for giving me moments,
but
I might as well give it my giving me moments now.
Yes.
And talk about the other movie I saw as my giving me moments. But one of my giving me moments this week was 1000% Bros. I was not, even though I love Billy Eichner and I think he's hilarious, I was not expecting to laugh as consistently through the movie as I was.
That's the
thing.
The
movie is hilarious and filled with such humor that I've never seen on screen before that felt so relatable. Even if I hadn't been in many of the situations that were happening in Bros, I knew of people who have been in those situations, and I just felt like I could relate to it so much, not just in its humor, but also in its serious moments as well. That monologue that Billy Eichner gives about like being a young gay boy and being told in musical theater school to butch it up and everything.
I mean, I told you this privately, but publicly, when he began the speech, I was like, oh, Matt Steele.
Right?
He's gone through a lot.
That was for me.
It was.
And him being told he's too abrasive and everything, was just so relatable and such a perspective that I had never seen on the big screen before. So it was so wonderful to see. Absolutely hilarious. I am thrilled that Michelle Williams has moved from campaigning for supporting actress for The Fabelmans to leading actress, because that opens the door for the best supporting actress performance of the year, and that was Deborah Messing as herself.
I don't know if she counts as a supporting actress in Bros.
She's a supporting actress contender to me. That was a performance.
That was a great. Spoiler alert, great cameo.
Great cameo. Great so cameo. Funny.
Okay, so the movie, for me, off the table, it is, in my opinion, good and something you should see. I agree with the people that are annoyed with this specific tweet thread from Billy Eichner. I understand we all take news of, less favorable things happening to us differently. I think what he's doing now, and just kind of liking positive people tweeting about Bros and saying oh my God, it's still out. I hope you see it. It's really something I think you're going to like. Kind of saying, okay, well, straight people didn't show up, or if the gay people, hate what's on the screen for them. The whole marketing around this movie, I feel like, has been this is historic. This is the first gay rom-com. If you don't see this, then you're against gay people. And I think that is the issue. And it's no one wants to see a film because it feels like it's homework. And so if that's the reason people didn't see it, I completely get that. I understand that. I don't begrudge them that. I would urge them to see it because I did enjoy it. But I think things should be allowed to be oh, this didn't do as well as possible, but it's still lovely, and I'm sure it'll find its home on streaming or wherever it ends up. But I also feel, on the other side of the coin, there is a certain gleefulness that a lot of queer people have in this movie flopping and being see, I never liked him. I knew he was a flop. I can't wait till we're being held at gunpoint and told we have to see Bros or we're going to die. Just there are so many queer commentators, queer Twitter users who are so excited to see this movie fail that it truly was giving me glitter. It was when Mariah failed with glitter and how it was the punchline of every joke for months. I'm what makes you so happy about this? That is where I'm losing the plot.
Because it makes people feel smart when they want to be cynical about stuff. It actively does. And the people who are just so angry at Billy Eichner for just existing, and they're just oh, I never see, all of you always liked him, but I never did, because in their heads they want to feel like they know better. I'm putting that in quotes, and it's just so obnoxious. And the thing I have to say about that is, you want to know who Billy Eichner was playing in the movie? All of you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Billy Eichner in this movie plays, and not just in this movie, the character that Billy Eichner has created for himself is just that opinionated homosexual who wants to shout into the streets in people's faces, we're not talking about Deborah Messing enough. The gays with the real loud opinions, and all they want to do is express them.
Yeah.
And that is why he is so funny, because A, it's ridiculous how extreme he goes with it, but B, because I can relate to it. Because we can relate to it, because it is so all the people who just love screaming about how they cannot stand it, how Billy Eichner is so annoying and everything, the fact that you are so eager to express this opinion so vehemently just proves that you are this character he is playing in Bros. You are the character he created for himself as his comedy bit. And I kind of think it's just so weird that people say oh, well, Billy Eichner, he's not likable enough to be in a romantic comedy. And it's do you not know the plots of most romantic comedies? All the plots of romantic comedies include either the guy or the girl or both are an unlikable character. And then they loosen up and soften up and everything. And it's just weird that you're using that as an argument when it's just not true. And I don't know, what I saw in Billy Eichner, I thought it was such a refreshing character to see on the big screen. It felt especially in a romantic comedy where you're used to seeing a certain type of person, seeing someone who is a little eccentric and abrasive and a little nerdy about the things that he loves and everything. It kind of felt like in Annie Hall, Woody Allen was not a typical romantic comedy leading man, but he made it work and created a whole thing. Billy Eichner was that to me in the movie, and that's why I loved seeing it. It was something different, and you mean to say you don't want to see something different on screen?
It's just, there are many reasons this movie failed, and Obviously, there are no huge big name like movie stars, A-listers. It's a rom-com. Rom-coms historically in the past several years have not been doing well.
Comedies in general,
Right.
historically, yeah.
So I think it's just like, okay, it didn't do well, but we don't need to add to this discourse and pile on about a movie that's actually good.
That's actually great.
That is the issue for me, is like, even if you don't feel like seeing it in theaters, if you wind up seeing it at home, you were probably going to be pleasantly surprised because it's well made, it's very funny, and you should see it. I do think Billy should continue to not speak. I think that's enough. We've heard a lot from him leading up to this. No more Twitter threads. I just think he needs to disengage to get all of this to die down. But I do want us all to look a little inward when we're doing that so publicly and excitedly celebrating someone's failure and being like, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
Because I don't get it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, in a way, hey, Billy Eichner, like, I have been there. I have put out like a movie that I really want people to see, and so I always want to verbalize how much I want people to see it. Like,
Yeah.
I will be on my deathbed being like, Devo's available now, because it means so much to me,
Yeah.
and I put it out there, and I want people to see it. So I will do
Absolutely.
whatever I can. So I can relate to him in that sort of way. Just the urge to get people to see it, and
Yeah.
honestly, like him and like Guy Branum and everything, like, I give them credit for not being afraid to give their opinions.
Right.
And being so verbal about how they feel about the situation and how frustrated they are as artists, because they've been working as artists for a long time and they've had to go through a lot of shit. Like, we are gay artists ourselves and we have to go through a lot of
It's
shit.
true.
And so it's very frustrating. So on one end, I do understand why people don't like that. But on the other end, it's like, well, you know what? He's honest and I applaud him for his honesty.
I thought Guy Branum's tweet thread was less pointing fingersy than Billy's was. And I also feel like, as I say every week, send yourself an email.
Well, but see, also, I found the Billy Eichner tweet to like kind of be like kind of humorous as well. Like, kind of like, oh, if you're not a homophobic weirdo, like,
right.
kind of like
But people are so excited. Like, the temperature of the room was not ready for him to be funny about this. Like, people
Sure.
were so excited that it didn't do well and were ready to hate him, and he kind of gave him some hate.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And all I just hope is that gay artists are not discouraged from making their stuff.
Yes.
Even, like, no matter what flops and what doesn't flop, always put the stuff that you make out there. Because the thing with Bros, like, it could do extremely well as the weeks build up. Like, there's been so much press around the movie now that, like,
I know.
there's all this discourse and everything. And then when it's on streaming, it could totally find an audience.
could.
Like, the audience for Bros is honestly like a streaming watching audience.
No,
You know?
as much as like he didn't want that.
You know, exactly. And as much as I don't want that, like, it is. So I have no doubt it'll find success in streaming. And as the years go on, like, I sent you and the people in the Discord that video of those baseball players singing, dancing on my own in a locker room.
Yeah.
And I was just like, see, like, just give something a decade and the straights will discover it.
I can't wait till Bros is the biggest movie of 2032.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be
Your time
something
is
else.
coming, Billy.
Oh my gosh. Well, in more positive news, our president did something great.
Yes, again.
Again, President Biden pardons all prior federal convictions for simple marijuana possession, including under DC law. Also directs that states do the same and asks HHS and and AG to review how marijuana is scheduled under the federal law. Because right now it's scheduled on the same level as heroin, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things that has felt so much like, this is wrong. So many people are making money on the cannabis industry these days, and there's still so many people in prison, in jail for just possession of marijuana. Like, why is that not going away? And instead of everyone just like thinking about it and talking about it, President Biden did something about it. I feel like earlier on in his term, a lot of people were complaining that the things that they felt he promised or that they dreamed that he would do, he wasn't doing. But I feel like leading up to the midterms, he has done so much to get people back on board, to get people excited, to get people to the polls. So I hope you all are registered and planning on voting in the midterms because they're coming up.
Yes, I'm thrilled, and I'm thrilled that, like, I think a lot of people like wanted all of this stuff to happen like immediately, and it's like, no, I want a president who works out the details first. And so even though it was frustrating that, it took some time, it didn't take that much time. Like, he's not even 2 years into his presidency, but like, But like, I want someone who goes through all the fine details and does their due diligence to make sure that this works. And I think this is such a great thing that he did, because I think there wasn't anyone like in prison currently, like federally, for marijuana possession, but like people had records and they would have a hard time finding jobs or finding housing because of that. And so that completely like eliminates that like burden and struggle for them, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we love good news. Kamala told us, and I completely agree. News. And since we're talking about politics, I guess we need to talk about Christian Walker and Herschel Walker and the family feud that has begun on the internet, because that is what our like national discourse is now about actually could be elected officials. Republican Herschel Walker, who is a retired football player and has no political history, of course, is in the hot seat as he is going up against the incumbent Democrat and Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock in Georgia. Herschel has said that he is for a complete ban on abortion in Georgia. And this story has come out that he actually paid for a woman to get an abortion of his child, you know, an abortion in pregnancy that he caused in his past. He did not confirm or deny this. And then this awful child, which, by the way, no matter if he does something good, Christian Walker's a piece of shit. This child is a TikToker, a conservative TikToker who has truly done nothing to except make the world worse until a couple of tweets, which were great, in which he says every family member of Herschel Walker asked him not to run for office because we all knew some of his past, every single one. He decided to give us the middle finger and air out all of his dirty laundry in public while simultaneously lying about it. I'm done. You have 4 kids that we know of, and you weren't in the house raising one of them. You were out cheating and lying. If you loved your kids, you'd be raising them instead of running for a Senate race to boost your ego.
I mean, the funny thing about this is like Christian Walker's huge like thing that he's constantly talking about on his like little TikTokies or whatever he makes, is like about the family man. The father needs to be at home and everything, and you like losers who aren't at home and everything. And it's kind of just like, oh, damn, are you describing like your own father? Like,
And before he tweeted this, those videos were out, and like these stories kept coming out about like all of the children that Herschel Walker had fathered and not been around for. And I was like, wait, Chris, like I don't see what's the disconnect. Exactly. So the fact that he is from basically the calls coming from inside the house, like he is telling us what we already knew, but then all of the MAGA people are in his comments just being like, please, Christian, wait till the election, please. And it's like, you losers, you know, it's like you would rather put your money, your resources, your hope into this man who knows literally nothing, who is nothing like the man that he presents himself to be, who does everything that he says that he is against. You'd rather this liar, this crook, this criminal, this man who probably has mental issues from the NFL to be in office just to get your horrible deeds done. Like, it makes me truly sick.
And I mean, the amazing thing about this is like, first it came out that like he paid for a woman's abortion, and then they showed like the receipts and the card, like get well soon card that he sent this woman, and Herschel Walker was like, I don't know this woman, I've never met her in my life. And then they were like, oh wait, there's one more bit of news. The woman accusing you of this is actually the mother of one of your many children. It's like, I love how they held off on that bit of information because they knew he was gonna say, I've never met this woman, and then suddenly they were like, oh wait, actually, but you did. She's the mother of one of your children.
Just like, why lie? Like, it's all this shit is in the public record. Like, do you think people aren't going to find out all the skeletons in your closet when you get on such a public platform?
Well, and it's just so mind-blowing the fact that the Republicans would like pick him as their as like what they think is like their golden candidate to win back the Senate from Georgia. Like, because I think they were just banking on like, oh well, he's a football player. He's a football player, so maybe people will want to vote for the celebrity again. And the fact that he's also African American, so they're probably like, oh, maybe he'll siphon off like votes from Reverend Warnock and everything. And she's like, but the things that Herschel Walker has said,
he's a full idiot.
He's girl. Like I don't even know how you like function in the NFL, let alone could function like running the government. Like no, absolutely not. And the polls for the Georgia Senate race have just been they were always like not great for him, but
Yeah.
like, and lately they started going up a little
They
bit. But
did.
lately, in the past like 2 days, the latest poll I saw online, Reverend Warnock had a 12
Yes!
point lead in a poll, which
Yes!
does not happen in
Right.
the state of Georgia. Like a 12-point lead
Thrills me.
is insane.
I want them to fucking have to vote today. I want it to stay 12 points. Like,
I mean,
that's
that's why in politics they always love an October surprise.
Hello?
But honestly, like this should be called an October totally not surprising at all.
I know,
'Cause
exactly.
Is anyone surprised by this?
This sounds like exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
So Beyonce has released visuals
For a commercial.
Tiffany ad. And it's like, okay, the Tiffany ad's good. Like, it's black and white. It's cool seeing her like sing some of the lyrics from Summer Renaissance. She looks great. But it's just like, we've been waiting so long for these visuals. It was July. It was July when the album came out.
And I mean, that feels like yesterday, but then I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is October. Time goes by so fast. But yeah, like, okay, look.
Okay.
Look, much like Joe Biden's policies and everything, it's like, I would love for the visuals, for you to take your time a little bit, for the visuals to be perfect,
I don't want that.
as opposed to getting maybe some flawed visuals.
Honestly, if I could choose, she would have put, like, I would, and I hate even saying this or thinking it, but like, I would have waited for her to put the album out until she knew the visuals were 100% locked and loaded. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure she would too. I'm sure she would too.
That's the thing, is at this point, and you know, I always love to trust Beyonce. I think she has the best course of action in mind, but I also feel like this could not have been the plan. Like, the fact that we waited this long, the fact that there have been multiple viral singles off this album and there's no visuals it's got to be frustrating for her.
Yeah, like what's happening? Do you think maybe like, you know, if this wasn't part of the plan, she was like, okay, like things are going awry and everything, but now that we have time and since I made the people wait, maybe I'll add a little extra more to the visuals to make it more exciting.
I could see her doing a little more for it,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what's happening. One of those, Beyonce Twitter sites that I follow that's like, oh, we're leaking information. It's real, I swear. And I'm like, I don't know if it's real or not, but it makes me excited. Has been posting as if things are really coming soon, like as of next week. So we'll see. But I want them now. We've waited long enough, right?
We have waited long enough.
The ad's cute.
The ad is
Yeah,
very
it's
cute.
very cute.
The great thing is like we have the teaser for the visuals and it's phenomenal.
Yes.
Like utterly those visuals look so
And the
good.
fucking, I can't talk. I can't even look at it anymore though, because I'm like, I don't know when they're coming.
Have you just watched it a million times?
I'd watched it when I thought it was coming soon, but then when I knew it wasn't coming soon, I stopped watching it because I was like, no, I'll just make myself upset. Well, I don't want to make myself upset today. Congratulations are in order to Scooby Doo's Velma. She's officially a lesbian.
I love that. Good for her.
She has come out in Trick or Treat Scooby Doo. She meets a character named Coco Diablo, who's very sexy, and she gets, a little, red in the cheeks, just a little, has a big crush on Miss
that.
Coco.
I love that she said like Velma deserves the sexiest. Of
Oh,
women,
my God.
because she works the hardest out of all of
She
that
does.
Scooby Doo gang.
She's the glue.
yeah.
Did you see that Lena Dunham tweet? That was weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just if you haven't seen it. When I go, I want my casket to be driven through the NYC Pride Parade with a plaque that reads, "She wasn't for everyone, but she was for us. Who can arrange?" And speaking of reading the temperature of the room, like, it's just like Lena. I feel like so often she makes a tweet that people quote retweet to death, and it's like, is she doing it on purpose? Like, is this on purpose?
If it is, it's good for you. That's
mean-
smart. Like the thing, I found this tweet to be so random and like kind of funny, and like how random it was. So it's kind of like, a girl, if you're doing this, get retweets. Good for you. I do find it weird how people just get so angry at her.
Yeah, people do get mad.
It's just like, I think y'all need to calm down. You're turning into, Billy Eichner's character in Bros.
It's also like, it's been so long, like, and not to say she's not, I'm sure she's writing and working, but she's not like, Girls isn't on every week. Like, it's not like she's the top of the zeitgeist. Like, why are we still are we holding on to that anger that hard?
Yeah, like their minds are still on her. And it's like, man, I wish someone thought about me this much.
I'm sure someone does.
Yeah, Mrs.
Someone out
Steele
there.
does.
Did you watch the teaser trailer for Netflix's Falling for Christmas?
I didn't know there was a teaser. I knew there was a poster.
No, there's a trailer. It's the new Lindsay Lohan comeback feature coming to Netflix. Co-starring Cord Overstreet from Glee, even though his name is not mentioned on the poster, which I find a little rude. It's like we've
Whose
heard
names are mentioned on the poster?
Lindsay Lohan.
Is it just Lindsay Lohan?
Yes.
Lindsay Lohan is.
Yes. Falling for Christmas. And so it was released on October 3rd for Mean Girls Day. I think Netflix also pulled Mean Girls from Netflix on that day, which is a little rude.
Okay.
But I will say the movie looks cute. I am a sucker for Christmas nonsense.
Yeah.
But there were moments during the trailer where I was like, that was a good line read, which I did not feel. What was the thing she did that we watched where she was being like Elizabeth Taylor or something?
Liz and Dick.
Woo! That was horrible.
That's a film, baby.
Jesus.
That's cinema.
So it was nice to see her back in her element, back amongst the snow. The film, I'm sure, will be lovely and Christmas themed. And now that I don't have 12 Dates of Christmas to rewatch since it got pulled rudely from HBO Max.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I go through so much when you think about it.
I'm thrilled for her. She's always been a very winning actress.
Yeah.
She's on her game and everything. So I'm excited for her.
I'm excited
Yeah.
too. Okay, let's see. Are there more news for idiots we need to talk about? I saw Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope turned 25. There's a new deluxe edition on Spotify. You all should stream it.
Happy 25th.
Happy 25th. Hocus Pocus 2 is apparently breaking Disney Plus records, the biggest movie debut ever for Disney Plus. So suck it, Hamilton, I guess.
That's incredible.
I know.
The thing is, I wonder how it would have done if it opened in theaters. Would it have disappointed if it was in theaters because everyone is so streaming focused,
right?
Especially for comedies
and for
everything?
a family comedy. Are you comfortable bringing your kids to the theater? Is different than you just going.
Especially a millennial comedy, because
Yes.
millennials are our age group. They are seeing movies on streaming, except for my little self in that theater, just seeing everything. So I guess I'm happy it's doing well because also now that really, really lights the green light for Sister Act 3.
That's the thing.
I bet they're excited to get that made now.
Is it greenlit already? Has that movie been?
It's been greenlit, I think.
Okay.
But I think now more so the producers are like, okay, Hocus Pocus 2 was a smash.
Nice.
People will be wanting to see Sister Act 3 probably on streaming.
Right.
Which is disappointing, but whatever.
Right.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I haven't watched Hocus Pocus 2 yet just because I don't have Disney Plus, but my friend...
I have a login.
I also have my friend's login.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'll use both of yours and I'll see which one I like better.
I like that.
And so I'm excited to watch Hocus Pocus 2. Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I am just so thrilled and excited. And people are like, it's really fun and really great. And I'm like, well, that's what the first movie is. So
I hope you enjoy every frame of it.
I will.
And you can tell me how it is. Yes. But more for me, the new Super Mario Brothers teaser trailer came out.
That's for you.
With Jack Black as Bowser and Chris Pratt as Mario. And I think Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. They both pop up in the trailer.
Okay.
I think it looks good. The animation looks very much in keeping with the video game itself. So it's not going to have to go through a Sonic revamp, if everyone remembers what happened there. I will say... we've heard Mario talk for a long time. And I don't know if now, and you can tell me as an Italian, is it offensive? It's a me, Mario. Do you find that offensive?
No.
No.
They're people have accents.
Well,
it's fine.
In lieu of an accent, Chris Pratt has decided... and he kind of beforehand, he was like, oh my God, my voice from Mario, you guys are going to blow your load. He didn't say it like that, but essentially, I'm using straight boy language. It's going to be crazy. I really worked so hard on that. He's just talking like himself.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch the trailer.
Wow, here we go. And it's like, who is that? That is not my Mario.
Wait, not even an Italian American accent,
Maybe
Jersey Shore?
Oh, not less than Jersey Shore. It's a slight, maybe a slight Italian accent.
Well, I don't want to have sex with that Mario.
You don't need to be having sex with any Mario.
Listen, if it's an Italian and he's got some sort of accent, I'm on board.
Well, I'm going to, of course, see the film. I'm excited about it. I'm a Mario head through and through. But was that the best we could do? There could have been someone involved being you can do better than this. It just was it felt lazy. You would never, we all heard your fucking vocal reel on Instagram, and you would have never gotten in that booth and been like, hi, it's Matt Steele. It's me, Mario. No way. No way.
Wow. Well, you know what? Maybe there's an artistic choice for it, much like some of the artistic choices in Oklahoma, in Sexy Oklahoma that you
Yes.
saw. Maybe the director was we're going to do something a little different for a specific reason to highlight the darkness of the writing of the original Mario. Maybe.
I don't like it.
I don't know.
I don't like it. Taylor Swift has revealed her full track listing for the album Midnight's coming out in 2.5 weeks at this point?
Yeah.
The track listing features tracks like Lavender Haze, Maroon, Anti-Hero, Snow on the Beach featuring Lana Del Rey, You're on Your Own Kid, Midnight Rain, Question, Vigilante Shit, Bejeweled, Labyrinth, Karma, Sweet Nothing, Mastermind. 13 tracks. I'm excited to hear it. I'm glad it's under the pop genre. The titles make me a little nervous, but we'll all see. You should visit 2 Gay Mats on YouTube the night of October 21st at midnight. We'll be there listening to the album live first time through, and I hope to love it.
I hope to love it as well. I keep sticking to my guns and saying, like, I think I will because the stories are personal.
I like that.
And the concept is so specific. Those titles are very vague and ethereal. So I'm like, oh, are we going to be a little... a broader headspace
here.
Could be. Like I know Lana is featured on the album as well. Maybe this is a very Lana-ish album, which we know Taylor loves Lana. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like you're shook. You're so nervous.
I'm shook, but I want to hope for the best. That's what I want to do.
You know what? In this world, that's all we can do. Is hope for the best.
Lastly, I just want to say, I don't even want to talk about the dumb shit Kanye West said this week. But just, guys, I continue to say this. We have to stop giving that man attention. He is a garbage. He can both be mentally sick and going through things mentally and also a piece of shit. And he has shown us that he is both. He has nothing to offer the culture. His shoes are ugly. His music is bad now. He should go get the help he needs and like raise his kids as much as he can. He makes me sick. He makes my skin crawl. I hate him so much, even if he is sick. All right.
I am wishing everyone peace.
Oh, I wish us peace by him.
Peace of mind.
My peace of mind will be given if he stops speaking publicly or ever.
Okay.
Done.
Right.
What? Any other news for you?
Oh, I was about to say, wasn't there something that like the people were like, do you want to talk about this in the chat?
If so, I forgot it. Do you remember?
I forgot it myself.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back soon with more 2 Gay Mats, the podcast. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Okay, this is Email My Heart. This is the section of the podcast where we answer any questions that you guys might have. You can be a part of Email My Heart if you email us at 2gaymats@gmail.com, spelled TWO, or if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can comment below and it might get read and it might not, but it might get read. So this email comes to us from Maxwell. Maxwell says, it's Mariah season. Matt, is it? Like, it's not Christmas yet. She would say not yet, but...
I would say yes.
Well, every season's Mariah season, but like... Matt, just realized it's been a couple months since I shot you both an email and I had a thought that I realized I haven't asked you guys. Before I do that, I just wanted to thank you both for creating a community of joy and positivity and love for everyone. Being a patron and an active member of the Discord chat not only makes me feel like I've gotten to know the two of you on a more personal level, but that I now have a community of complete strangers that I get to call friends. Plug the Patreon here. Subscribe to our Patreon and you can be a part of our Discord.
Patreon.com/2gaymats.
I truly cannot be more thankful, and I just thought I'd let you both know how much I truly appreciate the caring environment you guys create. Thank you, Maxwell.
That's so kind.
Now for my question. As fall comes around, from this point on of the year, I feel myself listening to Mariah more than any other artist. And I was curious of her 19 immaculate, pristine, iconic, amazing, all other Lady Gaga meme adjectives inserted here, number ones. Which ones would be your top 5? It goes as follows for me. Always Be My Baby, number 1. All I Want for Christmas Is You, number 2. 3, Fantasy. 4, Honey. 5, Love Takes Time. Can't wait to hear your input on the most pressing issue of the week. Okay, I might have exaggerated just a tiny bit, so much love for the both of you always.
You start. I need to think.
Okay, number 1, I would say Fantasy.
Okay, original or remix?
I grew up listening to the original.
I know.
I understand but the remix, does that count as going number 1? Or does it all count as one?
In my head, it's all a thing.
Okay. I have the respect for the remix, but in my head as a child, I just always heard that chorus. And
right.
I was like,
I get it.
Number 2, Always Be My Baby. I would say. Number 3, My All.
Oh! I mean, every song you say, I'm going to get really excited about. But My
Thank
All.
God I found you. Oh!
Maybe not that one.
Number 4. Damn, what would be my number 4? We Belong Together. I would say. And number 5, I'm trying to go through
This
all
is a
of
very
them.
good list.
I know. I'm trying to go through all of them in my head. Oh,
Yes,
geez.
there's so many.
Would it be Vision of Love, maybe?
TikTok sweets.
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
We'll come back to
We'll come back to what my number 5 would be.
I'm going to. This is very hard for me. I don't know if that's clear or unclear. I am currently wearing a Mariah Carey t-shirt. I love her more than any artist ever. Number 1, I would have to say Always Be My Baby. I think it's just a perfect song. It's also timeless. It's one that's grown in importance and I feel like is more in the ether now than even it was when she put it out. It also was the one that turned me into like, oh, I'm a fan of this woman to like, oh no, I love her with my whole heart.
Okay.
Always My Baby. I would then say My All number 2. I think then I would say Fantasy after that.
Okay.
I then would say We Belong Together number 4.
Okay.
I know we're tying at number 4. And then number 5. Let's think.
Oh, see, it's hard.
It is hard. What have you gotten your number 5?
I have.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so my number 5, I think personally I would pick Emotions.
Okay.
As my number 5. However, because I want to make Mariah happy, I know that she adores Don't Forget About Us.
She
and
does.
she gets angry when you forget about it. So Mariah Carey, Don't Forget About Us will be my number 5 for you. I did that for you, Mariah.
Very kind. I think number 5, I have to go with Dream Lover. I feel like it's the prequel to the fantasies, to the heartbreakers. Like it's her first, I'm going to do a big, I mean, I guess Emotions was a big pop thing itself, but it wasn't in the same way as Dream Lover was. It's just so singable. And it's so light. It is so put your top down on a sunny day.
You would put Dream Lover over Heartbreaker because you love.
I do love Heartbreaker.
So I'm very shocked that you're putting Dream Lover over Heartbreaker. Dream Lover to me has a bit more nostalgia attached to it. So I will. So like Dream Lover and Hero have so much nostalgia for me. So it's like hard not to put them in my top 5.
Right.
But yeah. So are you putting Dream Lover over Heartbreaker? You also love I Don't Want to Cry.
I do, but I mostly love the Tokyo Dome live version she did in '96, which is better than the album version. I would say it's Dream Lover, I Don't Want to Cry, and Heartbreaker are all closest next. And I think I have to go with, at least for today, Dream Lover.
She's going to be angry. She hates that flannel. She hates that flannel. My number 5 officially made her more happy than your number 5.
I don't know that it did. She always points out that Dream Lover is one of the first songs that she has that has a very subtle hip hop sample in it. And so she has respect for that song. I didn't say Hero. She's going to still like me. I didn't say Hero. And the thing is, All I Want for Christmas Is You, I weirdly think of it as its own thing. Like, it's like, of course I love that song. Of course it's one of her most perfect songs. But it's like almost like its own world of music, which is weird because it's one song.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I can't compare with her, non-seasonal material.
Okay, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Woo. Did we have? I don't know if we had another question here. So
I don't know if we had any other questions.
Let's jump in.
We can move on.
Matt Steele, what has been giving you moments, darling?
I mean, I already talked about Bros, but I also want to add some other things that I loved about Bros.
Okay, let's hear it.
Those sex scenes, like that sex scene between the two of them.
Hilarious.
I haven't laughed harder in a theater in so long. It's just like the stupid shit that they were doing to each other, like sticking the fingers in the mouths and I'm just gonna flex for you. It's just like, this is so funny.
Hilarious.
Like there are so many parts. Like you just need to see it and tell everyone to see it. Like it's so funny and it was so refreshing to see a comedy it's been so long since I've seen a comedy like on the big screen that I'm like laughing all the way through. And just applause for the entire cast. Like a bunch of people are criticizing like, oh, there aren't enough like huge like stars in the movie, and it's like that's something admirable.
Right.
That's something that Billy Eichner was like, no, I could have easily cast these huge giant names in there to like be a box office draw, but I'm not. I'm going to like support all of these people and give them these good roles in my fucking great movie.
Hello.
So like applause and hats off to that. So the other movie I saw on Friday was this year's Palme d'Or winner called Triangle of Sadness, which if you've seen the trailer is utterly ridiculous. I've
seen it.
It is with
I've seen it.
It's basically like a 3-part story. That the first part is very quick. It's about this like model couple, and they're just like arguing about men and women's roles in dating and everything.
Oh my God.
And then they go. The second part is they go on this luxury yacht vacation situation.
Okay.
And that's the longest part, and it's basically the dynamic between all of these people who are filthy rich, like insanely rich, and you know the people who are just, you know, regular workers on a cruise, like from the maintenance people to the maids to the chefs to everything, and their dynamic together. And then this isn't a spoiler, you will see in the most of the trailer is basically a bunch of people throwing up on each other.
Yeah.
There's a whole sequence where like the boat hits a storm, and like all the rich people are just throwing up on each other, and just like it's catastrophic and hilarious and ridiculous. And the requests that these rich people have are just so funny. Because the thing I loved about the movie is it didn't portray these rich people as these horrible people. Like they're very like sweet people,
right,
who mean like so well, but you can just tell that they exist on a different plane
100%.
as the workers on the ship. And so they do these ridiculous things like, oh, we want all of the workers on the ship to like take part in like the water slide. So everyone has to like leave their post and leave their jobs and put on their bathing suits and like go on the water slide. And all the rich people are like, yay, they're having fun. Like it's so funny. And
this
then
sounds like a fictionalized version of a Bravo show I never got into, Below Deck. Like it's because that's
really?
all about like, oh, we're chartering these guests and like they're all horrible rich people and we're just the workers on the ship and we have to do what we're told.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and the ensemble is really great. There's a third act after something happens on the boat that I'm not going to spoil, but basically suddenly like dynamics change and different people now hold a different position of power, and the performances are really, really fantastic. There's a great actress named Charlie Dean who plays the young model girl, who was really fantastic and just like such an iconic performance because she really is the face of the movie, I feel. And she unfortunately like horribly, sadly passed away at the end of August. Like,
oh my gosh.
Very suddenly, after like a very, very quick illness. And so she is fantastic in the movie. Everyone is really great. There is a performance by an actress named Dolly DeLeon who plays a maid on the ship, and she really doesn't do anything until the third act, but damn, she owns the movie at the end of the third, like in the third act. It's really, really entertaining and fun, and like there's an element of, it's a beautiful mix of like silly and serious.
Okay.
And I found it just watchable from beginning to end. So I was very excited to see it. I'm excited to see other movies next week. Like I'm seeing Tar next week.
Oh, I've heard a lot about Tar.
I'm seeing Tar. I know The Whale is coming out soon, which I'm really excited about. It's Oscar season, guys. So
it's a great time for you.
it's a great time.
It's a great time for you.
It's different from Big Brother season because even though I will be talking about movies from here on out for the next several months, at least they will all be different movies.
I know. I think it'll be exciting for people.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt Palmer, what was giving you moments this week?
Well, I finished the first season of The White Lotus, which was good timing because the second season comes out on October 30th. And there's a trailer and it's all new people essentially, except Jennifer Coolidge is back. And this time they're going to be in Italy instead of being in Hawaii.
Is she playing the same character, do you know? Or is
she
okay.
is. So I must say that this is a brilliant piece of television, even though if it was very tough to watch at points. I feel like Mike White is touching on issues of race and class in a very smart way. Like the people that come and it's kind of a little bit like the movie we were talking about, the like rich white people who come to this island where, you know, people of Hawaii are like putting on shows for them every night, and everyone who works at the resort is at their beck and call. It definitely is highlighting that dynamic, and even the dynamics within the rich people and their relationships with one another. But it's very much about like the staff versus the people there. And like as it starts, our main guy Armand, who's played by Murray Bartlett, is kind of telling Natasha Rothwell, the other people, or actually he's telling this one girl who actually ends up having a baby in that first episode, whatever, like you want to basically be invisible and just be a smiling face. Like don't get too personal with the guests. You're just there to assist and help with them. And a lot of times over the course of these 6 episodes, that does not happen. The guests and the employees that work there get tied up and in different circumstances with one another, and it's tough. Like, it's tough. The last episode is like an hour, 20 minutes. Like, these are like movies, essentially. And just to see the dynamics, it's kind of like a gross look at classism and racism and colonialism and how all of that comes to head on this island. It's really done masterfully, but it was also like, ooh, the world's kind of gross.
What a good time.
You know, it wasn't like Requiem for a Dream level where I had to watch like 9 episodes of Friends to cleanse my palate, but it certainly is one of those. It like hits
was it as hard as Dark Oklahoma? Was it as deep and serious as Dark Oklahoma?
I was less annoyed by it, if that's what you're asking. But yes, no, it hits you. It hits you like a ton of bricks. But I would recommend it. It is good. It is impactful. I think it works. It very well. Obviously, it's won like every Emmy that it was available to win.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this next season, but I'm also excited for 2 weeks away from the White Lotus and its staff and the patrons there, because I need a break from. It's like weirdly almost like claustrophobic, like the relationships they have with each other. They're in these tiny, like when the guests are there in their little bedrooms, which are kind of palatial. And also Molly Shannon is amazing in it.
Of course she is.
But it's like she's so opposite of like her characters that I usually think of her as playing like a very likable character. Like on the other two, she is the mother and is so winning and likable, and you love her so much. And she still brings that energy, but she's just like vile. Like she is just
great,
vile, and I recommend you watch it. I don't want to give too much away because it could, I want it to be as surprising for you, but every moment as it was for me. But I did enjoy it, even though it was tough.
That's fun.
Sometimes art is tough.
Some art isn't easy, guys.
And that's what Bros is all about.
And that, guys, as Bros taught us, art is not easy. But keep making it, even if it's hard, even if no one watches it.
Even if no one watches, because that's not what it's about. It's not about what. And I guess everyone watched The White Lotus, so Mike White did great. All right. Well, is there anything else you need to tell the people?
I don't think so. It's just that I love all of you and I wish all of you the best.
Yes, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening and or watching. And we'll be back next week with more 2 Gay Mats, the podcast.
Bye.
Bye.